That down. Let's talk about this. It's been a bad couple of days. Yesterday, we had to talk about the passing of several people from the Hollywood community. And today, I woke up to hear news that truly, maybe the phrase, one of the all-time greats, is thrown around a little bit loosely. Now, when it comes to Gene Hackman, he's one of the GOATs, one of the greatest of all time. We woke up to news this morning, according to this, that legendary actor Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog found dead in their Santa Fe home. They suspect, the daughter was saying they suspect it might have been carbon monoxide poisoning. They haven't really determined the cause. The police have initially put out a statement saying they don't suspect foul play. Whatever. Gene Hackman, at the age of 95, a 5-time Academy Award nominee, a 2-time Academy Award winner, multiple other international awards across his career, and truly one of the greatest careers Hollywood has ever seen. And unlike a lot of other people in entertainment, when he said, I'm wrapping it up, he did in 2004. He said, I'm wrapping it up. I got things I want to do. He actually did. He actually wrapped it up and went on to just enjoy the rest of his life, working with different charities, working with community, riding his bike every day. It is funny, I have to admit, when you look at this historic, iconic career of Gene Hackman, that he chose Welcome to Mooseport. I think he did with Ray Romano to be his final film. But you know what? What a Gene Hackman thing to do. Gene Hackman, who, of course, probably for most fans will be most remembered as Lex Luthor. He won his 2nd Academy Award in my favorite performance of his in Unforgiven. I still think probably the greatest Western of all time. In my humble opinion, Royal Tenenbaums, French Connection, Mississippi Burning is one of the greatest movies ever made. I mean, on and on and on. He could be funny. He could be a viciously deadly villain. He could do it all. And he passes away at the age of 95. Rob, I know this news. I mean, we were talking before the show started. He was 95. It wasn't like the unfortunate passing of Roberto Orsi yesterday at just 51, 95. But when you hear about truly one of the greatest of all time we've lost, what were your first thoughts?
Well, he had such a diverse career in terms of the kinds of movies he was in. Obviously, as a huge William Friedkin fan, Popeye Doyle in The French Connection is one of my favorite characters he played. He was in a great film in the 70s called Scarecrow with Al Pacino. That's kind of a wonderful, smaller, more indie film. Then he was in big studio productions. He was in The Firm with Tom Cruise, which is a great
that he did right after Unforgiven.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, Unforgiven's one of my favorite movies of all time. And then, Little Ducks, There's Trouble in Russia. He worked with Tony Scott in Crimson Tide. I mean, he was in No Way Out with Kevin Costner and Sean Young. And, of course, as Lex Luthor, he was great. But he was a great movie called Night Moves. He was just a fantastic actor.
Hoosiers, Reds.
The Replacements with Keanu Reeves. We were just talking about that. I mean, he was so great because, what's interesting about him is it used to be that he looked like if this makes any sense, he looked like a real guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't like too beautiful. Those actors that became popular in the 70s, like Roy Scheider and who was also in French Connection with him. Roy Scheider is one of my favorite actors too. And these guys that came out of the 70s, they weren't matinee idols. Like you saw the matinee idols of the 50s, the Rock Hudsons and people like that. It really started to change in the late 60s and 70s where it was the everyman was truly the everyman. And Hackman was that guy.
That was like Charles Bronson, too, around that era.
And you believed him in whatever role he was playing. But like you said, as Little Bill in Unforgiven, my God, he's so good.
That scene with him and Richard Harris. Like that's truly one of the greatest scenes.
The Duck of Death.
All time.
Yeah.
That's like one of the greatest scenes of all time.
And also when Richard Harris is in the jail, I was watching this last night, and Hackman tells Saul Rubinek what really happened when Little Bill killed the Duck of Death really killed this guy. Hackman, I mean, that's the great thing, dude. We've got so many dozens of wonderful movies of his to watch.
You know what's funny? There's I'm looking it up right now because there was a actually totally underrated. Nobody talked about it. It wasn't well received when it came out. But there's this little film he did with Sigourney Weaver. It was a little comedy. What was it called? I think it was called Heartbreakers. That was it. No, it got very little fanfare. Not a lot of people talked about it, but it was with him, Sigourney Weaver, and Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ray Liotta, Jason Lee. And I just remember that was one of those little comedies that I watched it, I was completely delighted by, and it really showed a different side to him that you didn't really think about when you thought he could truly do it all.
Yeah,
I mean,
he really
he
could.
could do you could be a director and hand him any kind of material, and he could just do it and make it iconic and make it great. And we have lost truly one of the titans. We've lost one of the greats ever. Gene Hackman passes away.
What a life, though.
What a life, what a career. And again, I so admire. He said it in 2004, 21 years ago. He said, yeah, I'm done. And I'm going to enjoy this part of my life. And he just went and did it. I mean, so amazing. Guys, how are you feeling about this? When you think of the great Gene Hackman, what are the films that instantly come to your mind? He has contributed so much to this whole fandom. It's just insane. Whatever you guys think about, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.